Broly is sent rocketing into the sun after being defeated by Gohan, Goten, and Goku in a Sun family Kamehameha. Broly rockets into the sun and causes it to enter a black hole period. However, this is not the sun in the main solar system that Dragon Ball is in, like our solar system. It is a different star. So he crashes into it and causes it to turn into a black hole through the sheer energy of it. And not even light can escape a black hole. So when he's sucked in for good. However, as he is sucked in, he ends up flying out on the other side in a black hole in Universe 6. Years before Kaba would eventually become Vegeta's disciple, and years before the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. He crash lands on an alien planet, and two random people find him, and they say, "We must take him back to our king. He will be most pleased with this." And to clarify, this is not Planet Sadala, but this is the catalyst for Universe 6's story with their own Broly. Look in a couple years later and see, before the Tournament of Power, Champa had warned Kaba and the Universe 6 Girl Saiyans that there is a force on the nearby planet of Sadala. It could eventually become a threat, much bigger than this universe's version of Akumo did, the father of all Saiyans. They need to visit it and end this threat. And they ask what it is, and he says, "It is another Saiyan." Not too long after the Tournament of Power, both Champa and the Saiyans forgot about this mission. Due to the events of the Tournament of Power, Goku unlocking Ultra Instinct and whatnot, and this would be normally the part where Dragon Ball Super, at least Universe 7, would go into the moral arc. But for us, Vados and Champa were very displeased with how Universe 6 fared against everyone else. Yes, they broke their limits, but Champa saw something more. He saw the Saiyans' potential. So, he asked Vados to do similar to training as Whis did to Goku and Vegeta. This way that the Universe 6 Saiyans can keep up with the Universe 7. However, Miss Vados warns that doing the exact same training would take forever, and she might be able to speed it up, but she would also do different training so that they can unlock their own evolutionary potential instead of just copying. And Kaba says he wants to go the route of his master, but make it his own way. Caulifla and Kale say that they want to go their own way as well, but they agree to train with Vados so they can become stronger. Hit simply just, unless you're paying him, he's not going to show up. But Vados and Champa then eventually take these Saiyans to go train. Meanwhile, in a galaxy not too far away, Broly is being tortured in a gladiatorial arena by a foe he's fighting until he eventually loses control again and turns legendary, killing the foe in front of him. He has a guard escort him back to his quarters, and the king come down and praise him, this being the Green King. The Green King shows gratitude towards Broly for showing such a wonderful display of power, and we showcase that the Green King has a dial on his belt. Basically, the reason he's the Green King is because he was the one that captured Broly all those years ago, and he has taken over the government by force. He can control how much power Broly gets and how little he gets, but he can also siphon that energy into himself, making him more powerful. So, safe to say, he's the strongest. Even if this is Z Broly, he's the strongest on the planet. However, the guard shows some sympathy for him and always feeds him extra. The Green King then tells Broly that he's such a good pet. However, what he does not know is that his control belt is weakening on him, and Broly is starting to become more and more unhinged and more unstable with power. So the next day he's sent out into the gladiatorial arena. When the king dials up his belt to let Broly transform, Broly forcibly stays in base form. And then the Green King dials it up more, forcibly staying in base form. And then keeps going and going until Broly finally lets out an evil grin and snaps, erupting into a new level. Don't feel like I gave that last segment too good of an explanation, but what happened was basically the Green King can control how much power Broly gets by Broly forcing to stay in the base form he has. It flowed more energy to him and more energy. And Broly's been tortured, hurt, almost killed, and he's had tons of Zenkais on this world, so he would be infinitely stronger than what he was in Z. Possibly on the level of Super Broly, but that remains to be seen. But yeah, just wanted to have that little bit of clarification there. Thanks. Meanwhile, with the Universe 6 Saiyans, we see Kappa come out of the smoke after sparring with Vados, losing something resembling a blue hue. However, we can assume for now it is just a ki blast. Vados says that he's improving on his training, and then Kappa says that, well, he's about to get a lot better, and goes in for, again, getting in some sparring. However, Vados is very easily able to dodge all of this. But it is showing that Kappa is improving. He's got a massive Zenkai and power up from this. And then we look over and see Champa sparring with Kale, who has unlocked another legendary evolution. He says that all he did was give Kale a smidge of destruction Hakaishin power. And look at what she's become, the legendary Destroyer Saiyan. And Champa is even having to throw some hands with her and put in some effort. If Champa is a little bit weaker than Beerus, and Beerus had to use 70% of his power against Goku, I would say that Champa's using about 80% against Kale. However, this is just to make sure he's still ahead. Not that Kale is 80%, he just wants to make sure there's a sizable gap in their power. Anyways, this leaves Caulifla by herself in the corner, and she's being motivated by her own anger, and she's already unlocked Super Saiyan 3, and then she wants to find out the level beyond that, because she doesn't know how to tap into God Ki, nor does she want to. She wants to tap into the true Saiyan's evolution. She thinks back to what Goku and Vegeta said about the tails and everything like that. She calls for Vados mid-battle to turn her body into a more primal state, that of the Universe 7 Saiyans. That might be the key to unlocking their power. I mean, they're able to get it so much rougher, so this should come as no surprise that she can unlock it too with the proper motivation. Vados does this, and Caulifla begins powering up and turns into a great ape. And then she eventually is able to get control of it after both Kaba and Kale have to team up and take down Caulifla. Kale calls out to her quote-unquote sister to get a hold of herself, and as she does, Caulifla condenses back down into a single orb, and then we see the birth of the new ultimate transformation of Caulifla, Super Saiyan. All and each admiring all of their new powers, from Super Saiyan 4 to Legendary God to Kappa's new ultimate Super Saiyan Blue transformation. It's all very new to them, and they have an intense 3-way sparring session, and ultimately by the end of it they all lay down in a circle together and rest. And then Vados gets an alert on her staff saying, hey, this sector has been completely wiped out, like a galaxy has been wiped out completely by an unknown force. Was that Champa? And when she says, oh no, that wasn't Champa, and then she reminds him of what he was supposed to tell them about and what they were supposed to do after the tournament, and they all forgot. And so Champa's like, oh my god, we forgot this, that, the other. We gotta get down there. Like, when I say we, I mean you three. Now that you're much, much stronger, this threat shouldn't be nothing compared to y'all. Last time we checked, it was just a measly Super Saiyan. Nothing special. And the Saiyans all chuckle if they'll really need all three of them. And he says, yes, just in case. Champa then says that he's going to go off with Vados and eat. And the Saiyans have a pod ready, which resembles a pyramid. And they hop in it and then take off to the distortion in their universe. As the three Saiyans drift across the galaxy, Kale gets an unshakable feel of nostalgia, as if This has already happened before, possibly within Universe 7, using a pod to travel across the galaxy to find other people. Might be similar. Either way, they eventually land on this alien world, and Caulifla steps out and says that the pyramid's made to generate a force field around the planet to make sure the Saiyan won't escape. It's their job to eliminate it. Let's go. The Saiyans then jump off of the pyramid as it begins to float in space and wrap around the entire planet. The Saiyans all go down to the surface, and they agree that they need to split up in 3 separate ways: go for the highest power level, or interrogate the guards, or visit cities just to get some info. They need to find this rogue Saiyan.
However, as the Saiyans split up and fly across the planet, Kale and Caulifla are finding nothing of too good of interest. Kaba has just recently found a city, and he's going through it and just finds children hiding and questions, hey, what's going on? Who did this to you? Is there anything I can do to help? He says he's part of the Sedalis Defense Force. He happens to be the strongest, not to brag. And we then see that the children say that the Green King did it, and Kaba asks, well, where is this Green King? And then a great big bright flash of green light wipes out the entire town that Kaba is standing in, including the children in front of him, and kills them instantly, except for Kaba, who manages to get out of the rubble very damaged, and he says, oh my god, where are you? I'm gonna kill you for what you just did. And then Broly appears behind him saying, you're going to do what now, Whelp?